All right. Put a one in the chat if you guys can hear me and see me. Put a one in the chat if you guys can hear me and see me as well. And then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Here we go. All right. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Let them know your name, your age, and what exactly you disagree with that I said.
My name is Alexa Graham. I go by Audacious Alexa. I am 39
Hmm.
and I am a male assigned at birth person, obviously. I I am queer and
Hmm.
pretty loud about it. And what I disagree with about what you say about black women is um, that basically them wearing their hair straight is appropriation of white women's hair, which I don't think it really is. And I feel like there's kind of like a false equivalence because, historically, black women weren't allowed to wear their hair as freely as white women were. And
Hmm.
so I feel like when you say that, as a fellow black male person, I feel like you're attacking, our own people, like black black women are our sisters, our mothers, our cousins, and it's like they had a different history, obviously. We have a different history. And I just think it's kind of unfair that you go around with a mic getting in their face and, it feels like a little bit of provocation, but it's like asking them about why they wear their hair straight or why a white woman can't wear her hair as an afro. And it just seems like false equivalence because I mean it's like asking how come you and I can't walk into a job interview with a hood on and get a job, but a white guy could, right? Like how come? I wonder why. It's
Okay.
like, yeah.
So, number one, you said in the beginning that I said that it is cultural appropriation for black women to wear straight blonde wigs or straight wigs and things like that. I never said that. So I'm saying when I called um, white women wearing an afro the same as black women wearing a straight hair wig, I meant they're the same as in they're both bad. So if a white woman is always putting on a straight hair or a white woman is always putting on an afro, that is indicating that she doesn't love herself. She probably hates herself and she wants to be like something that she's not. Same with black women. If they're always putting on a straight hair wig or weave and they have hair like mine that goes up towards the sky, that means they're indicating that they have self-hatred. So this is why I said those two are the same. And I'm not saying that they're the same on a cultural standpoint.
That makes sense, actually. And thank you for clarifying because I feel like a lot of the videos that I've seen, and again, I'm being anecdotal. I haven't seen all of your videos, but the
Right.
ones that seem to come on my feed are the ones that get the most engagement, which usually it's you walking up to a couple random black women and basically trying to catch them in sort of a gotcha moment about how, oh, look, why do you guys you like your natural hair, right? Oh yes, I do. But why do you wear your hair like white women? Now, here's the thing about that. I see what you're trying to say about how any woman that basically tries to look like another woman that looks nothing like her probably does have some issues. I can agree.
Right.
I can agree. I mean, I should know, right? I can
Right.
have a
Right.
self-depreciation humor, but that's a part of being trans and being okay with yourself is like, you can have humor and laugh about it. I'm just saying that I guess if you're doing this, why black women? Because here and here's what why I'm focusing on that part. Because I don't know. I grew up around black women. I would assume you did, unless you were adopted. And I mean, they they get nothing but scrutiny. when it comes to their looks, when it comes to their hair, when it comes to their skin color, they deal with a lot of scrutiny, and not all of it is reasonable and fair. A lot of scrutiny, it's just unprovoked. Why are you wearing your hair like this? Why are you wearing your hair like that? They got enough to worry about in their day to day life. I'm just trying to understand, why not go up to white women and ask them,
So
hey,
my the
why do
point
you
of
try
my
to look like black
videos,
women?
the point of my videos is to challenge the thinking of black women. So their ideology comes from not themselves, not from the black community. Their ideology comes from racist white Europeans that instilled that as a form of slavery into black people. And now black mothers teach their daughters this form of racism. This is why we see that black women are wearing straight hair wigs, straight weaves, because before colonization, black people did not do that at all. And now we see black mothers actually teaching the racism to their daughters. So when I walk up to a black woman and I say, hey, what is the most beautiful race of woman on the earth? Or what race has the most beautiful hair? And they always say black women. But then I say, so if black women have the best hair, then why do you guys wear other races' hair? And I do this so I can challenge their thinking and actually get them to see exactly why they do what they do, because I don't think black women are thinking about what they do.
I think you're right. Now I'll give you that point. I if you and specifically about the challenging of the thinking about what we've internalized. But
Right.
but it's not just black women that have internalized self-hatred, obviously, right? For that matter, here's what I'm saying. You're not a black woman. Neither am I. And if I'm going to be honest with you, in society, most people don't respect it when someone goes up to someone of another demographic and then tries to check them on their internalized thinking. I am a black male person, and I am queer and loud. If I went up to another black queer man and was like, "Hey, why do you do XYZ?" Most people would be like, "Okay, right?" But if I go up to a group of women and I'm like, "Oh, hey, why do you guys wear your hair like this?" People are going to question, like, what's my motive? And I'm not saying your intentions are bad. I'm saying that, why go up to those groups? Why not go up to other black men? Because here's something I think that's interesting, right? We've got so many different stereotypes, negative ones, right, that we have to deal with as black male people. Why not go up to black men and ask them about their internalized self-hatred manifested in different ways? Go up to a black guy who is, I don't know, in a relationship with an abusive white woman, and ask him why he's in a relationship with her and how much he hates himself. And
Well,
then you'll
so
get more
so I
engagement. Yeah.
I actually, so I wouldn't get more engagement. I've been doing social media for a long time, so I understand the metrics and how everything works. But like people in the chat said, I actually have interviewed black men about the things that they do, but those videos just don't blow up because nobody really cares about it, right? So what we must not do is when I, comment on what a black woman is doing wrong, the wrong thing to do is to be like, okay, well, we need to worry about somebody else. No, if I'm talking about a black woman, the conversation is about a black woman and what she's doing. We shouldn't be like, okay, we need to go and speak about white women now because I'm talking about a black woman, right? If you guys want to speak about white women, a lot of people already do that. So I'm focused on improving black women, and I cannot improve a black woman by talking about a white woman. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, which is why I don't understand why you even bring them up at all in the conversation with black women. Why are you wearing your hair like a white woman? I've heard you say that before, more than once.
Right.
I
Right.
don't I don't think white women should be even brought in the conversation. They're irrelevant and unserious in most things they do, and especially if you're concerned about black women just building themselves up and feeling, good about themselves, you don't need to put down another type of woman like white women, but you also don't need to bring them up either.
Sir, so the thing about it is, I actually do need to bring them up because they're a big part of why black women are even wearing straight hair, wigs, and weaves. If it wasn't for them, black women wouldn't be doing what they do. So they're a big part of the conversation. If a black woman is putting on a straight blonde wig every single day, she's trying to be like a white woman. She's a white supremacist. She hates herself, and she also probably hates other black people. So they are a big part of the conversation.
Okay, so I'm not one of these people where I'm going to be like you're wrong or you're, I try to hear people's perspective. All I want is your perspective. So if that's the case, can I ask you a question, a personal question?
Go ahead.
Do you primarily date black women or exclusively date black women? I'm just curious. Are you exclusive?
Exclusively, no, no.
Okay. So here's the thing, and I get this, and this is I noticed this is a pattern with all ethnicities of men, is the guys who go the hardest about, like, when you hear the white guys that are like, oh, they get angry if they see an ethnic guy dating a white woman, and they'll be like, well, white women need to do this and that. Those are the same guys that you'll see with like an Asian wife, right? Or like a Hispanic wife or something like that. And I noticed that like the black guys in our community, like Dr. Umar, I know he's got his own issues, but his daughter doesn't speak well of him. And I would think generally, if you are a black man who's into black women and you're all about it, you don't have to be loud about it. You just live it. You want to worship her, you want to take her out, you want to treat her well, and all those things. And you don't have to go up to other black women and be like, hey, check your thinking, check your internal hatred. I hate to say it, but when you go up to them in these videos, it gives the viewer the impression that it's assumed that black women mostly internalize this, that most of them do. Now, here's the key. I'm not saying that everyone thinks that way. I was obviously born black and male, so I don't think that you hate black women or anything like that, but I'm telling you that like other groups cannot parse that nuance because of the fact that they're not black males. And so they're like, oh, well, why is this black male going up to women of his own ethnicity, checking them on their internal self-hatred? What would you think of a white dude going up to white women and telling them that they're self-hating if if he disagrees with their dating choices?
So a white man absolutely has the right to do that because the white man is the leader of the white woman, just like the black male or the black man is the leader of black women. But the problem with today is a lot of black women don't respect black men anymore because of the government and things of that sort that are, really a black woman's leader today. But when I speak about black women, if people think I hate black women, that's cool because a lot of people they see love as hate and hate as love if you hate the truth. You feel me? So when I speak to a black woman and I say, "Hey, I want to see your natural hair. Why are you wearing the hair of another woman?" This is not hate. This is me wanting to see who God actually made her to be. Now, somebody who's telling that black woman, "Oh, black women, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Wear your wigs, wear your weave." That is the person that actually hates the black woman.
Really? Because I'm
Of
pretty
course.
sure that, I identify as pretty much pansexual. Not that, it's unsolicited, but I'm just telling you, for case in point, I generally, when I really like somebody, I don't really care about how they come in on the platter. I don't care what horse they rode in. I like them as they are. And I know that's kind of a foregone notion now of people just kind of liking people in their natural state and for what they are. But I've always been about, I date women sometimes and I like women in their natural state, especially the women that I'm attracted to, you know?
So, but why do you only date white women?
I don't only date white women. I have a ex that's a Latina. I have multiple exes that are Latinas. I have definitely dated black women. I haven't had long-term relationships with any, but I don't
But
really have a
I'm just saying when I,
yeah.
go down your page on Instagram, I just see white women and white men primarily. So to me, it gives off a standpoint that you maybe hate black women or hate black men. And because you change yourself as well from a well, try to. You can't change yourself from a man to a woman. That's impossible. You'll always be a black man at the end of the day. But it gives off that you have self-hatred and then hatred for men because you change yourself to try to be a woman.
Well, I will say this. The 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 part that you're actually correct about is like the final part that you talked about. Um, and I wouldn't call it hatred for men. I would call it a material distrust, because of the fact that there are so many men out there that assume they understand who I am, they understand what I'm about, they understand that they know my journey and what my loves and hatreds are, and they don't know jack shit about me. And that's the thing, is that at least with women, And you mentioned white women. Well, yeah, I have a lot of white women who happen to be friends of mine, and they don't judge me, and they don't sleep with me, but they don't judge me, and they
You know
make me
why?
feel
Because they
safe.
don't love you.
No, because I'm not trying to sleep with them.
No, because no, somebody who loves you is going to judge you. They see you doing wrong. They're going to be like, okay, I don't want you to do that. That's just like me having a child. And I say, I'm not going to judge my child. I would be a bad parent because you're supposed to judge everything your child does because you as a parent, you see the future. You've already walked in your children's footsteps. So you're supposed to be like, hey, don't do that. Don't do this. This is bad. This is good. But somebody who doesn't love you, they'll be like, do whatever you want because they don't care about your outcome.
So the way you're treating me and my profile is that lack of evidence is evidence of evidence. Like it's like, for instance, you're like, oh well, there's not a lot of black men on your page, which is also not true. There are other black men on my page, just not many. They're sprinkled out throughout there. But I do live in a white city. Number one, it's called pretext, right? I live in a very white city. In fact, the whitest city in America. Number two, I do not and did not grow up around, as far as outside of my family, I did not grow up around high black population neighborhoods. Now, do I have something personal against black women or black men? No. In fact, I'm on this podcast live stream defending black women, the same ones that you randomly pick out and basically put on Front Street for everybody. And I hate to say it, but it kind of comes off as a humiliation ritual. And you bring up white women, and I think it's interesting because you claim that I'm self hating, but my white women friends have seen your podcast and they've also seen your live stream clips. And they think that it's quite the opposite. They think that you hate black women, which is why you go up to them and you pick them out and pick on them. I don't do that.
Well, of course they think they're going to say I hate black women because number one, they're liberal white women and also feminists as well. So they probably hate men as well. Pretty sure if I could, hang around these women. And by the way, they look on your Instagram. But number two is they see black women acting like them. So of course it's going to be okay. But let's take their children, right? Let's say they have little daughters in the future. And let's say there's laws that go around that say white little girls can't wear their natural hair anymore. So we have to go and slap on Afro wigs on their daughters. How do you think they're going to feel about that? You're going to see black men or you're going to see white men in the streets interviewing white women to say, "Oh, why do you guys let your daughters wear Afro wigs?" They're going to be upset about that. But because they see me picking on a black woman for wearing straight hair, they think it's okay because they have straight hair. They see a black woman acting like her, and so they say it's okay.
Okay, so have you ever heard the expression live and let live?
Yes.
Now, your earlier point about the people in my life that surround me not really caring about me or giving a damn because, well, they're not going to judge me, because you feel that judgment is synonymous with care, right? And sincerity. Is that what you implied?
Sometimes. Yes.
Oh, okay. I like how you said sometimes. Again, nuance, right? Because here's the thing. There's people out there that will judge you and they don't care what you come on. They don't care what you're about. They don't care what you're doing, and they don't care if you die tomorrow, right? There's people that will prejudge you, right? Then there's people that will go, I don't know what that person's story is. I have no clue what their background is. I don't know what their values are. And here's the thing. I can waste my time trying to judge them and project my insecurities on them, or I can say, you know what? There's better things that I can do. Here's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that any of your points are wrong in the context of like critical theory. If we're talking about Black American studies and culture and across the world and things like that, but there's a place for that conversation, and I feel like on Instagram and on YouTube and going up to random black women, yes, it garners engagement, but I don't think it's the type of engagement that makes black women look good. And then, to be fair, yes, you made some good points. And here's what I would say to that. I personally, I don't know every woman in the world and what other women in other cultures think, but I've shown your videos to my friends, and I have friends that are women of different cultures, one even an Arabic friend, and she said the same thing. She thinks you hate black women. I have not met a woman who doesn't think you hate black women.
That's okay for you to think, but let me see something really quick. Let's just go ahead and give me 1 second. I want to pull something up for the viewers to see. Okay, so this is your Instagram, and these are the people that you hang out with.
Yes,
So it's clear to me that these are liberal white women, right? So
yes.
of course, they're going to say, "I hate black women." These are the type of women that think all women should be able to do what they want to do. Men shouldn't judge women. They would also say that people like on podcasts like Fresh and Fit hate women and stuff like that as well. They would
But
have
they
this
do hate
same.
women. They absolutely do hate women. Fresh
Oh,
and fit. Are
mm,
you kidding me?
yeah,
Come on.
okay, okay. My point exactly. So because I say things like I want black women to wear their hair naturally. I don't want black women to start wearing their hair like white people because when we first before we were colonized, black women were not doing that at all, right? So, because I want black women to be themselves, to be who they were naturally born to be, now I hate black women. Just like if I told you, I want you to be who you naturally are and who you were born to be, right? They're going to say I hate you because I don't want you to be or try to act like a woman. I want you to act like a man. So they would also tell me that I hate you as well, right? With that same logic.
No, they wouldn't, because I recognize that I am in a man. And a person saying they're a trans woman, adding the trans before anything, says that you were basically born the opposite gender and you're trying to present as such. So it's a foregone conclusion. I have no problem saying what I was born, and people know what I'm born. It's quite obvious. It's not like I
But I mean, you
pass.
you hate yourself though. So of course you're gonna see my content as me hating black women because you hate yourself.
And why do I hate myself? Because I enjoy presenting in the feminine?
No, because you have body dysmorphia. So you said you're a
Oh,
trans,
yeah.
right? So you were born a man, you were not born a woman. So if you loved yourself, you will love yourself how you naturally are, which is a man,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah. So,
And
okay.
also that fake hair in your head right now, right?
Mhm.
You would wear
Right.
your natural hair. You wouldn't have to put fake hair in there to try to be like something that you're not. So these are all signs of self-hatred. And then when we open up your Instagram as well, one more time, let me just go here and show the viewers. So what we predominantly see, let me see if I could just click through.
That's a black woman, by
Yeah,
the
yeah, it
way.
is,
Who's
it is,
that?
it is, it is.
Okay, that's my
But
Latina
oh,
ex-girlfriend.
okay,
But
okay,
yes,
but
go on.
okay, but
Yeah,
she's white. She's white.
she's a Latina, but they,
Oh,
but
man, sir. Okay, so Latina is not a race. Okay, Latina is mixed from black and white people. That is a white woman. Doesn't matter if she says she's Latina or not. She's a
well,
white
she
woman.
doesn't identify as
It
one.
doesn't matter what she identifies as. She's a white woman. These are
Okay.
all mostly white women. There's one black woman next to you right there. Look at all these white people. That more white people. More white people. I'm just clicking through, sir. I'm clicking through.
Oh wait, more white people, right?
No,
Oh
no, no,
wait,
no,
no,
no. But I said majority. The majority of people are on here are white,
because I live in a white city.
sir. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Okay. Well, I told you that's the area I live in. I live in a white city, and at the end of the day, all I'm saying is that, as you can see from my Instagram, I don't have a problem with any demographic. If I hated black men, I certainly wouldn't have my best friend on there who happens to be, oh, guess what? A straight black man who doesn't care about how I identify and doesn't try to tell me how I should live my life, because he actually likes me for who I am as a person. A
Mm.
real friendship. I don't know if you have one of those with another black guy, but it's nice.
I have many of those.
Oh, okay.
You so the chat. You guys should check out an organization called the Assassin Satan Center Nation. Ton of black guys in there. Ton of masculine, strong black guys in there. And we don't deal with any intoxicants to the mind or body. So an intoxicant would be a form of a, a person that identifies as a woman and they're a man, because this is actually a mental illness, and there's proven data on that as well. But anyways, so yes, I have many actual black friends that are heterosexual, unlike the one that you're talking about. I pretty much doubt that he's fully straight, but that's another conversation for another day.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now we're insulting my ex-girlfriend, calling her white when she is full blown. She identifies as Latina.
Yeah, she's white.
And
She's a white
and
woman.
my
Yeah.
best friend, you're calling him not straight when he's only been for his whole entire life, which
I mean,
is okay. Okay.
yeah, he can say that, but I mean, so the thing about it too is if you condone evil or you let evil slide, that automatically makes you evil as well. So even if he is straight, if he's, saying that your lifestyle is okay, that is an evil thing to do.
So because I'm not straight and he is, he can't technically be fully straight. That's your theory, right?
No, I'm saying he's condoning evil and he's letting
Oh,
evil slide, so it makes him a bad person.
okay, but that's kind of an interesting take. So essentially, then, are black women that don't wear their natural hair bad people?
Yes,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
absolutely. Because look, what black women are not thinking of is how they affect the future. You don't know how many little girls in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade I'm seeing wear wigs, weaves. A lot of girls I interview, I just posted an interview today. Girls, they were talking about how they don't like their natural hair. They hate their hair. It's only done if it's in a style like a bust down where it looks like white women's hair. So this is clear signs of self-hatred. But black women that are wearing wigs and weaves, they're not seeing exactly how they're affecting the little girls that come after them. So if you're doing something that's going to negatively impact somebody else, yes, that makes you a bad person. Absolutely.
So this is my final question. I noticed you brought up a lot of stuff about, trans people being, body automatically, if you're trans, you're dysphoric, body dysphoric, and all these sort of shortcuts that you take on judging people. But have you ever, the artist Prince, right? You know Prince, the musical, the musician, right?
What about him?
He used to do a thing where he would do gender bending. He would dress in bikinis, he would wear all
Okay.
kinds of crazy stuff. Now, I have to be honest with you, I don't know, you're probably a little bit younger here, but Prince is pretty much a legend in the black community. And
Okay.
he never was for lack of getting women. He never slept with men. And he was nothing but confident in himself. And here's the thing, he even
Okay.
has a lyric where he says, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, I'm something you'll never understand. But yet, he didn't hate himself. He wasn't a hate a self-hating person, and I just find it interesting that you feel people modifying themselves equates to self-hatred. So if a man gets a hair transplant, that means that he hates himself, right? Because he should be bald. Technically, I should be bald, and if I didn't take hormones, I would be. I'm balding already as it is, and I'm trying to do what I can and can't. But the point is
Absolutely.
that, yeah, you think
Absolutely.
so?
Hold on. Give me one moment. I'll be right back with you guys. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So your question was, if a guy gets a if he gets a hair transplant, does it mean that he hates himself?
Yes.
Absolutely. So, um, if you're trying to cover up or change yourself in a way that is not who you are, yes, that is a form of self hatred. So what it definitely indicates is that he's insecure. I wouldn't immediately call it directly self hatred, but it's a form of self hatred. So it's an insecurity because he's trying to put on or make people um, see something that is not real, if that makes sense.
Okay, so let's do this. Back in the '90s, I'm a little older than you. Back in the '90s, a lot of black guys used to wear S curls, where we used to kind of modify our hair and put in a loose curl, kind of like a midway between a Jerry curl and natural.
Yeah.
Were all those black guys self-hating, like Keith Sweat? All those brothers that used to wear like the wet look, were they self-hating too?
So Any man that was trying to look like something like, so let's say they straighten their hair, like the black men back in the 60s and 70s that would straighten their hair to look like white men. Of course, yes, self-hatred. Absolutely self-hatred. Just like black men who get a spray tan lineup, self-hatred.
Okay. Okay. Well, I just was curious about how broad your definition of self hate was. So, if that's your
Yeah.
definition of self hate, then I pretty safe to say I think that most everyone is self hating.
No, not everybody.
A lot of people, definitely.
Oh
A
yeah,
good,
a lot of people are insecure and
yeah.
like men that wear hats all the time and or wear do rags and they just don't want to show their lineup because it's balding. Yeah, it's self hatred. But so what we're doing is we're trying to deflect and get off topic and go into other people. We're talking about black women, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So black women that wear wigs, weaves, stuff like that all the time, self hatred, and that is just a fact, pure fact.
Can I leave you with this? Because I know you got stuff to do and other people you want to debate. So, here's what food for thought. Um, you said you date all types of women, and that would include black women, I would assume.
Of
Is that
course.
correct? And so, my question is this. Um, let's say you meet this really hot black girl, you're really into her, you guys are vibing. Excuse me, not girl, woman. You meet a black woman, she's really hot, you're vibing with her, and things are looking really good. And at the end of the night, you guys are about to go hang out at her place, and she pulls up your videos of you going up to random black women on the street. How would you feel?
Totally fine with that. I would want my woman to know, actually, my woman and the women that I deal with currently are black women. So um, she already knows exactly what I do. Actually, she's the one that posts the content that I make. There's a lot of black women that are for the movement that I do today. Just because you see a lot of the majority of black women that hate me, right? Because the majority of black women are wearing fake hair, wigs, and weaves, and I'm attacking something that they're currently doing that is hurting them, but they don't realize that. And just because you see the hatred doesn't mean I don't also have a base of women that also support me. There are many black women that love exactly what I do.
Okay. Well, I think we can agree to disagree. I can respect your views on, getting
S-
people to think. I appreciate anybody who gets people to
So
think.
really quickly though, so you said it's bad for white women to wear afros because of a cultural standpoint. So would that also apply to black people that celebrate Christmas, holidays, and things like that?
Well, not to be too personal here, but I didn't grow up celebrating the holidays. I grew up Jehovah Witness.
Well, I'm not talking
So,
about you specifically, but all the people that are, celebrating a Roman pagan holiday, should
uh
they not celebrate Christmas, Valentine's Day, and things like that because it comes from white culture?
um that's a good question because I know that, for instance, I know a lot of Jewish people, ethnic Jewish people, that would find it disrespectful if, say, a non-Jewish or Gentile family was celebrating
S
Hanukkah and
But
was
I'm
doing
talking
it the
about
right way.
you. Do you think it's bad?
Yeah. Do I think it's bad? It's hard for me to say because I didn't grow up celebrating holidays. And so as an adult, I've just recently started to celebrate the holidays. In fact, some of those photos you picked up on my Instagram were me for the first time having my first and second Thanksgiving, or whatever
Okay,
they call
so you have experience now. So now that you've had experience, is it a bad
it.
thing for black people to celebrate white cultural holidays? Yes or no? That's just a yes or no question.
I think it can be. I think yes, I think it can be because one of the things that I learned about one of the holidays I just mentioned, Thanksgiving, is that there's a lot of indigenous Native American folks that do not find that holiday to be anything but disrespectful.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think we should be careful. To answer your question more honestly, I think black people should be cautious about celebrating traditionally white holidays, because there is an outlying chance that, yeah, if you look at the root, and definitely, if you personally, if it's a personal conviction for you and you're like, I don't quite feel right celebrating this holiday because of the origins of what they actually used to do, it was pretty dark and scary, then fine, you can just opt out and not celebrate it. But I would say generally, black folks, as far as white holidays are concerned, yeah, you should be cautious and look at the origin. I used to, I know when I first got out of college and finally got away from my folks and I was able to start celebrating holidays, I got invited to some 4th of July celebrations. And what I've learned about the 4th of July recently, because of the internet, is that that has some negative connotations for, slaves, former slaves. It was
Okay,
basically,
so you're
yeah.
basically saying that so it's bad for white women to wear any type of black culture or hairstyles, and it's also bad for black people to celebrate holidays. Is that your
I
standpoint?
think okay. I think that I don't like you saying that I think it's bad. I said caution. I think black people should be caution about holidays that are outside of our cultural origin.
Well, but I
One.
mean, you did say white women shouldn't wear culturally black hairstyles.
I think that if they do, I think that it is risky for them. Can they do it? They absolutely can, but I think it's risky. Would I be offended? No, I would not, but I think it's risky. If there's a white woman and she's like my best friend and she's like, "Hey girl, I want to wear this these box braids into work. You think I'll be cool and HR won't say anything?" Maybe they won't, but maybe they will. I just know that here's the thing, we have a different history than white people, that goes without saying. And so I think that you can't remove historical context. If you're going to talk about people making judgments about people, you can't remove all historical context. And the fact of the matter is that black women, especially in the workplace, have been subjected to unfathomable standards. Like black women have been scrutinized, overwritten, overspoken, to the point that, yeah, I mean, I could see how them seeing a white woman wear their hairstyle might irritate them. But there's a lot of black women that I do know that are like, they don't care. They're like, whatever. So I don't think as black people we can't say we're a monolith, just like white people aren't a
So
monolith.
you don't
But
think
yeah.
that black women are using that as an excuse to just because they're jealous of white women wearing box braids and culturally black hairstyles, they're basically using them being scrutinized in the workplace as an excuse just to not see a white woman in these hairstyles.
That's hard to say because I'm not a black woman and I can't speak for them. But I think it's case by case. I know that in general, and if you say you date women, then you should know this. There's all types of women will say, well, I'm not jealous of this type of woman. I'm not jealous of that type of woman. But then you go back and you review the tape and, oh, yeah, they are jealous. I think all types of women can be jealous of each other at any point. It's all, just like men. There's people can just be jealous of people because they feel that that person has something they don't have. I've dated white women who were jealous of Asian women friends that I've had. I've dated Latinas that were jealous of white women. All that, it goes back and forth. So I don't think it's like a specific to black women being jealous of white women. Are there black women jealous of white women? Obviously, yeah. Are there white women jealous of black women? Yeah,
A-
definitely.
And then last question. So what would be an indicator that somebody hates themselves? What would be indicators of that to you?
Projection. To me, projection. Here's the thing. You remember like when you were in elementary school and there was like the schoolyard bully that would go around picking on people? What was the one hallmark trait of every schoolyard bully when they got older?
I'm not even sure. So you just have to let me know.
Most people I know that used to bully folks back in like elementary school and junior high and middle school as adults
Okay.
had a lot of unhealed trauma.
Okay.
That's the
So
common thread.
okay, do you think we can look at somebody and look at the practices that they do and assume, or we can make a valid assumption that they do hate themselves by their practices?
Sometimes, but
So
that's
like I
sometimes a
like if
symptom. Sometimes.
if somebody, let's say like Michael Jackson, he, pretty much shaved his nose down to nothing. Do you think that was a form of us, body dysmorphia?
Yeah, and he even admitted he had dysphoria. He did.
Okay. So a black woman that covers her head all the time, do you think that's a form of self-hatred as well?
No, there's black women who wear hijabs for that matter. Is that
No, no,
self-hatred?
no, 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 no. That's different because that's a
Okay.
religious practice.
Okay.
A black woman who is putting on a blonde straight wig or straight wigs all the time or bust down wigs all the time, this is by choice. So like I debated a lady, a couple nights ago, and she basically told me that she hasn't worn her natural hair outside in 3 years. Do you think that that's a form of self hatred?
I would, this is what I would say. I would refrain from judging her because I don't know what's going on internally. I don't know her. It could be. I'm not saying you're off about this, that somebody that's constantly changing their appearance doesn't have some sort of issue with themselves. No. I'm just saying, like, you don't know what the root is. So it's, again, when you we do this thing where we kind of assume the facts without knowing the foreground. Like, what's in the foreground? What kind of issues did they have growing up? You don't know what their upbringing is like. You really
Well,
don't know
there's
people.
clear that, there was issues going up. I mean, just like, the majority of people that are, they identify as gay, most times, some type of trauma happened in their past to make them that way. So I'm not saying that nothing happened to them in their childhood, to make them this way, but I am saying that we can look at people that are saying, I'm not insecure, or I don't hate myself. And we can, look at them and see that clearly that they do, because they're doing practices that are of self-hatred.
Sure, but you can also be self-loathing and not change a single thing about yourself. And I know that because there's a thing called incels, right? I've been in those chat rooms with guys who sit basically like slobs on the couch, and they're not like changing anything about their physical appearance, but they definitely do not like themselves, and it's very clear.
Okay. So, yes, I mean, that's the same thing as I said, though, because you can look at that person and see that they hate themselves because they're not taking care of themselves. So that's still looking at the physical, and you can see by what they are still doing, which is nothing, that they have self-hatred. So a black woman that's wearing or never wears her natural hair, or wants to cover it up all the time, or she's trying to emulate a white woman, it's clear that she hates herself.
So I think we're kind of like drawing a conclusion without the pretext. Like, um, okay, so a black woman who straightens her hair wants to look like a white woman, or does a black woman who straightens her hair want to wear her hair straight that day because she likes to change up her style? Can people have a thing called freedom? Is that too much? Like freedom of expression?
So people can have freedom, but when black women say, I want to switch it up, that makes sense when you're always wearing your natural hair, and then, a couple times out of the year you want to switch up and wear straight hair or something like that. There's no problem with that. But I'm talking about the black women that wear fake hair all the time, or and wear straight hair all the time, or every time their hair is out, it's always in a straight hairstyle. And then when I confront them about it, they're like, "Oh, I'm just switching it up." But how are you switching it up when this is the same type of hairstyle that you've been doing the whole year, but you want to switch it up? The thing is not that you want to switch it up. The thing is, you want to switch it up from your natural hair permanently. That's what it really is.
Yeah, well, I'm all about people for the go back to the natural this and the natural that for
Hmm.
themselves. The key is for themselves. If you're just like, hey, I'm a black man and I believe in being all natural and that's what I want, and I only want a woman who is that way, fine. But here's what I'm trying to say, okay? Um, you said you've dated all types of women. If you found out, let's say you were dating a white woman and you found out she had gone into a tanning bed, would you dump her the next day?
If she went into a tanning bed,
Yeah, because that's
you
her
said,
trying to
okay,
look darker and not like a white woman. So would you dump her for that? She's not trying to be a white woman. She's not
okay. So
honoring
you're
her
saying if
beauty.
I'm dating a white woman and she did that,
Yeah, I'm saying this is the issue that I have with society is people apply these standards unevenly. If you're dating a white woman and you found out she comes to you the next day and she goes, "Hey babe, I went to this tanning bed. Look." Are you going to go, "Oh my god. She's trying to alter herself and be a darker skinned woman. I'm dumping her tomorrow." Would
no,
you
no.
do it?
So no. So the thing
Oh,
is,
oh,
yeah,
okay. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So the thing is, number one, what a lot of people don't realize is that white people, they have melanin too, just as not as much as black people do, and they also need sunlight as well. They also need vitamin D. If a white woman went to a tanning bed one time and she tanned her,
I can hear you now. You're good.
all right. So yeah, I'm not gonna dump her because she did something one time. Now, if she's tanning her skin to the point where it looks very dark, like let's say like mine, and she's doing that on a consistent basis, and I talk to her about it, and she doesn't change, yes, I will dump her or leave her because it's clear to me that she doesn't like herself. So what I'm saying is it's about frequency. If a black woman straightens her hair one time, of course she doesn't hate herself. There's many black women that wear their natural hair all the time, and then maybe once or twice a year or three times a year they might straighten their hair. That is not self-hatred. Now, a black woman that straightens her hair every time it's out, that is a form of self-hatred.
So if she gets braces, because I've had exes that have had braces. She gets braces for herself as an adult, and she loves to wear foundation, and she likes to wear eyeliner. And
Right.
let's say she's a redhead or blonde, maybe she's a little bit lighter, So she likes to wear makeup that kind of highlights the features that she just doesn't have. She has light eyelashes or something like that. So she got braces. She's got light eyelashes. So that's a lot of, let's be honest, that's a lot of modification, right?
Right. Right.
Are you going to dump her?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
for the makeup piece, a lot of with teeth at least, if your teeth are messed up, that can be a health issue as well. So the teeth thing, no. If she just got her teeth done, no. But makeup, yes, because I'm against makeup. This is another form of self-hatred. If you're always putting makeup on, like I said, it's about frequency, how much you do it. If a woman puts on makeup for a wedding or she does it for an extravagant event one time, no, I'm not going to dump her for that. But if she's always putting on makeup, yes, I'm not. That's just me personally. I've always been against makeup.
But here's what I think a lot of, and I can't speak for women, but here's what I hear from women is that they will hear men go on podcasts and talk about how, oh, they want a natural woman on natural and this and that. But then they'll go and out of the other side of their mouth, they'll be like, oh, well, I wouldn't date a girl who's naturally obese, or I wouldn't date a girl who, I don't, if her skin color is this shade, I probably wouldn't go for that.
Hold on,
They
hold on,
hear
hold on.
all,
Did you just say naturally obese? That's not that's not possible.
excuse me, predisposed to gaining weight. There are people that are genetically predisposed to gaining weight. I'm one of those people. I'm type 2 diabetic, and my grandma was, and my grandma before her. It's in my genes.
Well, that's just called taking care of your diet and eating the right foods. There's certain foods you can eat and not gain weight at all, like let's say meat, fruit. But if you eat too many carbs, you're going to gain weight. It's just simple. And it's also calories in, calories out. And also, if you have to eat certain foods, you just work out, right? And maintain your body. But people try to make excuses for these things. So there's no such thing as you not having control over your obesity or you being fat. That is totally you. And if a woman is overweight, yes, I'm not going to deal with that.
So, but yes, that okay, fine. That if that's how you see it, it's your right to have your preferences. Everyone has the right to their preferences. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that what I've heard women say is that they'll hear men talk about how they want natural this and natural that, but
Okay.
then they'll go and the minute they see, the hottie with the long weave or whatever, and they end up going for her, and they're like, wait a minute, I thought you said you like natural. And the same thing and I speak on just like my own sibling. When she was in middle school, there were these guys that would try to like pick on her that were black, that would talk about her hair and how she was wearing it and all that. And the thing is that she was wearing it naturally, and yet they would pick on her for that. And then they'd go up and they'd see this other girl who wasn't wearing their hair naturally, and then they would be all, all over her. And I guess what I'm saying is that sure, these are anecdotal experiences, but I think that it's the same thing. And this is how I actually can relate to what they're going through, because you know how women will say things like, oh, I don't really care how tall a guy is, but height's important. It's like number one, number two, right? But
Okay.
then you'll see these guys, and this is why I'm saying it's not a gender thing. You'll see these guys that'll go and do the height surgery. In fact, there was a black guy in Atlanta who did the height surgery. He went from my height to about 5'11". I'm 5'4", barely. And he basically was talking about how it improved his life, it made him happy, and he was the same person. He just felt better about himself. Just getting that height surgery. Now, I'm not, this is, you're going to like this point. So, the interesting fact is that once he got the height surgery, he ended up having a disability. Obviously, he couldn't run, he couldn't walk straight, and he had to work through that. And all through the comments of the video, there were a bunch of women mocking him, talking about how gross he was because he's naturally a short man and they find short men disgusting. All that talk about we care about personality and height's not that big of a deal, but then they go and make fun of a short guy who's just trying to feel better about himself. You see that? That's what
Right.
you're
So
doing to black women when you basically say, "Oh, we love natural," but then at the same time, you're going up to them with a mic and then you're asking them, "Well, why did you modify yourself?" You know, I think they go through enough scrutiny and I think they go through enough people dogpiling on them, especially non-black men, which hey, I'll agree with you on one thing. There are a lot of black women who don't respect black men because we don't defend them when they're being dogpiled on by other men. We go out with
so
mics and videos and get in their face.
so the thing is, the analogy that you made of the guy who, you know, got the knee surgery, that is his fault. If he hated himself enough to go and cut his bones to get a knee surgery and then go on the internet and complain or whatever he did, I didn't see the story, and people made fun of him. Number one, he put it on the internet. Number two, this is all his doing. So if people made fun of him, that is totally okay. And he deserves to be made fun of for that. See, we need to start shaming people for their wrongdoing so other people after him don't make the same mistake that he did. When I walk up to black women and I ask them these questions, this is not coming from a place of hate at all. I'm asking them questions. I never once talked about a black woman's natural skin, natural nose, natural lips, her natural hair. I never talked negatively about the black woman. The thing I talk bad about is the product that comes from Europeans and Asians. And a lot of these products have chemicals in there that cause fibroids, cancers, they cause, you know, black women's health to decline. So if I can see that and I care about black women, of course I'm going to speak up about it. The only people that would not speak up about it is people that don't actually care about black women. These are the people that actually hate black women. And you made a point earlier as well, talking about how black men they'll choose a girl that has, you know, fake hair, and they say they want natural. So the thing with that is, number one, we have to look at if they're dating to marry these women or are they just, you know, trying to sleep with them. Those are two different things. Also, if if a guy is choosing a woman with straight hair, most times, depending on what city you live in, like if you go to Atlanta, you'll see it's just full of fake hair everywhere. So this is just what they have to choose from sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what they have to choose from. But I guess what I'm saying is this. If you do like black women and you do want to see them happy, which I would assume, you do want to see them at peace. You do want to see them in resting in their femininity. I hope all these things are true. If they are, why on earth are we going up to them with a microphone? And here's the key here. It's not like the audience is just people like myself or people like my sister or people like your family, right? There's white people watching, there's Hispanic people watching. And I'm sorry, bro, let me tell you something. You want to call me sir? I'll take it. Okay, bro, guess what? You know how to lose respect from every other demographic? Be a black man and go up and openly disrespect a black woman in front of the other demographics.
Openly disrespect. When did I ever openly disrespect a
Going
black
up
woman?
to random black women and going, looks like your hair is not natural. Why is that? Why are you wearing your hair unnatural? You know, it's not like you were going, oh my God, you're stunning. You're so beautiful.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean,
See, the thing is, number one, I the first thing that you said, when you said that, I said that I walk up to black women and I'm like, why is your hair not natural? I never asked a black woman that, first of all. Second of all, I actually do walk up to many black women every single time I'm filming and I see a black woman with her natural hair. I say, hey, how do we get other black women to be just like you? Your hair is beautiful. And then we go into the conversation about hair, and it's just a peaceful conversation because that is me promoting natural hair. Now, a black woman that is wearing fake hair, I asked them a question like, "Hey, what is the most beautiful race a woman on the earth?" Or what race has the most beautiful hair? And then they say black, and then we start to go into a conversation. So I'm not disrespecting anybody. The thing is, when I start to make points and I say that, there's a lot of black women that don't like their hair, or there's a lot of black women that, they want to be like another race. When I say these things, then the black women, they get upset and they start to attack me. So this is where you start to see clips of discourse, or them yelling at me and just an argument, because they get upset and then they start to have this energy. I'm actually not I actually was not disrespectful to them at all. And if you watch my full videos on YouTube, you'll be able to see that.
Okay, so this just could be a difference of core beliefs. I believe that love is respect, but also love is sincerity. And I feel that if you truly love black women, going around and basically trying to alter or tell them that they might not want to wear straight hair because, or even implying it because it doesn't honor their beauty, is, I would say, disingenuous at best. Because the thing is that, a woman doesn't have to walk up to me and say, "Hey, I know you were a man and I know you're short and that's what you naturally should have been, so don't wear those high heels or those lifts." She can absolutely say it and I would laugh at it. But the thing is that she doesn't need to tell me that. I can still wear high heels or lifts. I can still put on makeup. Not saying it makes a difference, but people have a right to make themselves feel good, just like that guy getting the hair transplant, or the black guy that decides to get a jerry curl or an S curl. People have a right to wear and express themselves in a way that makes them feel good about themselves, as long as they don't hurt anyone. And you say that young black girls are being hurt by seeing black women wear their hair straight, but I'm going to have to disagree. Women, here's the thing: I have so many white women friends because I live in a white area, and one of the things that they told me is that a lot of men don't realize how often white women wear weaves and extensions. They
Okay,
do.
so the thing about that is, even you said earlier, you said little girls in school, they'll go up to the women that are wearing their hair naturally and make fun of them. But then the girls that are wearing the fake hair, they'll go and praise that. And this is a direct result of the parenting and the mothers wearing wigs and weaves. So they have a direct effect on the youth. So if by her wearing a wig and a weave, now there's little girls being made fun of, right? Because this happens all the time. Just like you said it, black women tell me this all the time. They say, when I was in middle school, there was a girl or a group of girls that made fun of me, and they were also black women or black little girls, and they would make fun of me, and that made me insecure about my hair. Now I wear wigs and weaves. So it's a curse that keeps going on and on. And if I'm a black man and I can see this, and black men are supposed to be the leaders of society and of the black community, I'm supposed to speak about it. But a lot of you guys, like I said earlier, you guys see love as hate and hate as love. When somebody says you can do whatever you want, that's actually hate, but you guys see that as love.
I see it as a judgment, and judgments sometimes are necessary. I won't disagree. Judgments are necessary, but when it becomes impersonal and you say, for instance, you're like, well, that person, it looks like they're having fun over there. You see somebody who is, they're playing their stimming or whatever, right? They're playing with like an etch a sketch and they're doing all this stuff. And you're like, oh, maybe that person has mental illness. Well, you find out that person's autistic. Now, you made a judgment about them and you might be right. But the thing is it's not your right to tell them how they deal with it. And it's the same thing with this. I'm saying this: yes, there's absolutely self hatred in every community, and it can manifest in young children in the community being influenced by what they see adults do. But here's what I would question for you to think. I'll leave you with this question: if you were a little black boy and say you saw your father going up to a bunch of black women and asking them about their hair, And by the way, for our generation, the internet's forever. So if you ever have a son, he's going to see these videos. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And something else that I've come to realize is that because a lot of my friends are millennial, we're right there on the Gen X millennial. We're starting to realize that a lot of stuff we've done like 15 years ago, it's still on the internet, and our kids are actually going to have to cope with this. And it's not going to just disappear after middle school for them. It could follow them their whole lives. And so I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going with this. I'm simply saying that I don't think that this is the path. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life or how to go about it, but I just don't think this is the look. I don't think this is the look because honestly, it doesn't gain anything other than engagement, and that's not the kind of money that you want, is to be that guy. Because here's what's going to happen: you're going to be that black guy who basically went up to black women and asked them about their hair. You're not going to be remembered by most black women as the guy who loved and worshiped black women and
Well,
treated them well and let the rest. I'm sorry, you're not going to be that guy.
here's the thing. This is just the beginning. This is what I'm starting out doing interviews, okay? And if these interviews last forever, I would love that because people need to see the ideology behind black women and the things that they do and also see the different excuses because when I post these videos, people can directly see, okay, what wait, she's making up things. Wait, wigs protect hair? How? Wigs protect ears? How? Somebody told me yesterday that wigs protect ears now. That's why they wear wigs. So when they see black women going to all these extents to try to, prove why they should wear a wig and not just say the truth, now this discourse can be on the internet forever and people can see, the truth basically. So if I had a son, I would definitely be proud for him to see exactly what I'm doing. But just because this is what I'm doing now doesn't mean I'm not going to do more in the future. I have plans to further black women wearing their natural hair in the future by doing bigger and better things. This is just a right now thing. So my thing is, if I know that this is causing self-hatred among the youth, I'm going to try to do something about it. Just at what age were you when you realized you didn't like yourself?
I was at no age that I realized I didn't like myself. That's your
No, but
assumption.
no, but I mean, you were born a man. So
Mhm.
and you're trying to act like a woman, something that you're not. So that's self-hatred. So at what age did you realize that you hated yourself?
Again, it wasn't a self hatred, it was a misalignment.
What do you mean a miss? So wait, do you believe in God or no?
I think that the God that we know of is not necessarily the God that exists. I'm saying I'm an agnostic, just so you know. I was raised Jehovah's Witness. I'm actively an agnostic, and I feel that a lot of people have been brainwashed about
Okay,
who
so
we think God
agnostic
is.
is that you believe in God, but you don't basically know who God is.
I believe there is some kind of a force out there that's like a god, but I don't believe that human beings fully conceive what he really is about.
Okay, so
Yes.
basically you're saying the God that made you, you're saying he did something wrong.
No, I'm saying that
Because
just
you
like
said there was a misalignment. So what do you mean by
yeah, there
that?
was a misalignment, like just like my ex-girlfriend who got braces. There was a misalignment with her teeth.
That's
With
not the same
trans
thing.
people, with yeah, same thing. She got her teeth changed, right? Because there was a misalignment with her teeth. I had a misalignment with how my gender expression. That's it.
Okay, so but how? What do you mean you had a miss? What does a misalignment mean?
So it means that how you are perceiving yourself and how you move through the world is not aligned with what you feel internally. It doesn't always equate to hatred. Just
So,
like,
but when I
yeah,
talk, so but there is a form called body dysmorphia, meaning that when you look
sure.
in the mirror, you don't like yourself, and that is a form of self-hatred. So,
Hmm.
by that definition, you are self-hating. Am I wrong or right?
Wrong, because not all trans people in this particular
I'm talking about
instance.
you, not all trans people, just you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, not all trans people are dysphoric because you're making that assumption. That's the problem. Is you're making the assumption that all trans
Okay,
people are just dysphoric. They're not.
so
Not all.
so if I'm a man and I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, I don't like myself, and I go try and act like a woman or try to be a woman, that means I don't like being a man. I don't like myself. That means that's self-hatred.
It means there's a misalignment because what you feel internally is not what you feel on the outside. It doesn't change the fact that you are a man. It just means that you are misaligned with the expression.
Absolutely not. because if you're born a man, men or so if you're born a male, males act in a certain way. And if you look in the mirror and you're like, okay, I don't like this. I don't think this is right. That means you're saying that you do not like how you naturally are. And that is by definition self-hate.
And then by that logic, though, all gay men hate themselves. Is
Absolutely.
essentially. Oh, so you believe that?
Absolutely.
Can you go for? Can you expand on that? Because I'm curious as to why you feel all men that are basically not straight hate themselves. Tell me.
Well, so number one, we were meant to be with the opposite gender, right? So if you're, you know, doing acts of, I forget what the word is called. Actually, I just don't want to use it. But if you're, dealing in dealings with another man, this is a direct form of self-hatred. Maybe something happened to you in your childhood. That's what the studies most times do predict, that something happened to you when you were younger. That's why you act in this way. But it's definitely a form of self-hatred.
So, if I found a guy attractive,
Sodomy. Thank you.
okay, okay. So essentially, then, by that logic, basically, no one should modify anything about themselves, whether they have crooked teeth, whether they have, deformities or anything like that. None of
So
that
now you're
should.
you're being disingenuous though,
Okay.
because that those are not the same thing. I'm not trying somebody with crooked teeth. Like I said, they could have there's something wrong with their health. A lot of the times when people have crooked teeth, that can be a health risk as well. So a person fixing their teeth and somebody looking in the mirror and say, I don't want to be a man anymore, I want to be a woman, that is two totally different things.
It is two different things, but the misalignment is the parallel. I'm simply saying that yes, there are people that are trans that they're not the binary, they're not identifying as a woman or a man, they identify as gender queer or whatever them they, and those people aren't all dysphoric. Just saying.
What do you mean by that?
Dysphoria is like body dysphoria where you're like, oh, I
Oh,
wish I was in another body. There are a lot of trans people that I know that they don't even take hormones or do the stuff that I did, and they just identify as, say, I know a lot of women that just say, hey, I don't identify as a woman or a man, I'm a them they. You've heard of that before, right? Like the gender queer people. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard of them day, but don't you think it's kind of extreme to take pills from a man to try to change who you are? Like, so, because we went over self-hatred many times and we went over the definition. So the definition. I just feel like you're trying to skip over it and trying to say that it's not self-hatred to try to say, okay, I'm a man and I don't like being a man, so now I want to be a woman. Like, don't you think it's still a form of self-hatred?
I think that there's definitely, in a lot of cases, for people that identify as transgender and binary, especially if they identify as the opposite sex from what they were born, that they have a lot of cognitive dissonance about their sex that they were born. Yeah, that's not really something I'm refuting. I'm agreeing that. Yeah, are there a lot of dysphoric transgender people? Yeah, that's why they're transgender. But the key is that if they're calling themselves a trans man, that's basically telling you that man was born a woman. If he's or the person calls yourself a trans woman, they're saying, hey, I was born with XY chromosome. That's literally what it means. The trans before anything basically defines it as not what that was. So, if I'm openly trans, I'm basically telling people I was born a man, and I know I don't pass as a woman, and I don't care. It's about feeling good about yourself and doing and dressing however you feel. If I put on this dashiki with this yellow jacket, it doesn't mean that I hate myself when I'm naked. It just means that I like to be clothed. Sometimes it's just about choices. People
So
just want to
those
feel
those
good.
are two totally different things though, because clothes you cannot compare. Like in society, we have to wear clothes or you're gonna go to jail. You cannot just walk outside naked. If you want to do that in your house, cool, but those are two totally different things. I just have the standpoint of I think people that have self-hatred, they shouldn't be able to lead society or make suggestions for other people, because if I know I hate myself, or if you're self-hating, then how can you give advice to little kids, or how can you even see what's best for a child or somebody that's going to come after you if you hate yourself?
So you said that if somebody has self-hatred at all, they shouldn't be allowed to lead society. I fully
Yes,
agree with you. And I'm going to ask you something. And I feel this way as a male-born person like yourself. I think we could agree. We don't like people that assault women, right? We don't like people that sexually assault women.
of
We don't.
course,
And we have a special, I would argue, hatred for men who do that, right? We could agree.
of course.
Now, here's my question. You said people that have self-hatred shouldn't lead. So, would you not agree that a man would that would be as so low as to, take a woman down a dark alley and SA her? Is he not self-loathing as well?
Self-loathing,
Yeah, he's self-hating as well, right? He hates himself,
but
right?
explain that logic to me.
So, a man who would take advantage of a woman in a vulnerable position and SA her, I would say that that man also hates himself to do that to someone else, to another human being, right?
Okay, so okay, how does a man hate himself by wanting to pleasure himself? I say it's definitely bad. Grape is definitely bad. But how does he hate himself by doing that to a woman?
Because I think it's generally natural. And again, I can't define what's natural for everyone else, but I think it's generally natural to want to be wanted and to be with someone intimately who is into you consensually. I like it when I'm with someone and she's like, "Hey, I like the way you look. I like this. I like that." And it doesn't matter, right? It's consensual, and the what turns me on is the fact that she likes me for me and I like her for her. And that's what is really, like, if anything, that's what love is about. And so when I see or hear about a man, for instance, who takes advantage of a woman and SAs her, he doesn't even love himself enough to want that consent.
Okay, so it's still your explanation still didn't say how he hates himself. I'm not getting what you're getting at by saying he hates himself.
Because
I
he
mean
doesn't
I mean
want a woman's consent, so he must hate himself. Why wouldn't you want someone to want you? Why would you
okay,
assault
so
someone?
but a leader, how are you trying to compare that with being a leader?
So, we have leaders in our country. If you're in the US, are you in the US, right?
Yeah.
We have leaders in our country who are on the Supreme Court who have been not only accused multiple times of essaying multiple women, but we have a leader in the highest position in the nation who has been, and we could say evidentiarily, like, there's a trail of evidence, has definitely assaulted adult women. There's evidence that he himself has affirmed, and suspect that he's assaulted children as well,
Okay,
possibly.
so I think they should be taken down from leadership. I definitely agree with that. Are they self-hating? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that I think them being self-hating in that point is irrelevant. But them being a leader and doing that to children or other women, of course, they should be taken down.
So you don't feel Donald Trump should be president?
Of course.
Okay.
I don't think any of our you know, the people that were running need to be a president.
Okay.
I personally, I think if we could, I would elect Marquette Devon Burton to be our president of the United States, because then the world would be a better place with assassin and everything like that. You guys should definitely go check out assassin.com for sure. Peace to the saints. But there's a lot of wicked things that go on. But I'm just saying that people that are self-hating should not be giving advice to little children. That was my original point. I'm not sure how we got off that far, but yeah, like by definition, I mean you are self-hating, so you have no right or place to give advice to anybody. That's
But you do, and men like Andrew Tate do, right? They should also be giving advice, right?
of course.
Oh, Andrew Tate, him too.
What did he do? Did he do something? Am I not caught up?
Well, let me put it this way. I think there's plenty of evidence out there that he might not like himself
Why do you say that?
because of how he speaks to women.
Okay, what did he say?
I, well, I'll put it this way. Him telling women basically that they like being hit by him and that they like his abuse, when they've already accused him of doing something so that they don't want and it's unwanted. I think that to me that boils down to a self-hating man. I don't know a single man out there that picks on women that loves himself. Name one.
Okay, okay,
Name
okay,
one.
okay. So personally, I never heard these allegations about Andrew Tate. I don't follow Andrew Tate. I'm not his supporter. So if you believe that, that's cool. That's cool with me. But you're saying that I shouldn't be able to say anything. Is that what your point is?
I don't think that you're any better of an ambassador to children than I am.
Okay, explain that.
Because at the end of the day, you're going up to adult black women telling them basically that there's a problem. And the problem is that, and again, here's another thing you talked about not being genuine and being facetious and all that. Okay, so how genuine are you by going up to adult black women and acting like the most pressing problem in our messed up
No, no, but
society
I mean,
is black women in their hair? Like when we've got all kinds of
explain.
other problems.
No, but you said I'm no more fit to be a leader in society than you are. So
You're
explain that.
not. You're not.
Explain
You're
that.
not. Because the thing is that I am a leader. I'm a community leader. When I'm not doing my little podcast interviews and stuff like that, I work in public housing. And when I'm not in public housing, I work for the food bank. I'm a community volunteer. I've led projects to help people because, oh, I don't know. I guess that's kind of my purpose. I feel like if you're not helping
Were
people,
you getting paid to
then
do
we're,
that?
pardon?
Were you getting paid to do that?
Not the food bank and definitely not the community
Okay,
leadership.
but a food bank, that's you're not a leader.
It's voluntary, and I am a leader there. I actually organized the community gardens because I
But
want to teach.
I said a leader of society. I didn't say a leader of your organization.
Well, it's a community, and communities make up our society.
No,
They're the
but I mean,
backbone.
you told me I'm no more fit to be a leader of society than you are. So
Yeah.
what gives you the right to be the leader of society?
Oh, I'm not saying I deserve the right to be the leader of society. I'm
Okay.
saying that my resume and my receipts speak to the fact that I do lead in my society, in my community. That's all I'm saying. Where
Okay.
are yours? Where are yours?
So with me, I've interviewed thousands of black women, right? Thousands. How many black women have you talked about? Um, how many black women have you talked to about hair?
Good question.
Yeah.
Let's see. My sister, my mom,
Okay. Is it more
my
than
aunt.
thousands?
Thousands? No.
Okay, exactly. So I've spoken to thousands of black women about hair. Um, I'm not I'm not even doing this because I wanted to. Black women requested me to do what I'm doing right now.
Oh.
When I did interviews in the past, I started out doing this as a prank, right? I would wear the wig and weave and everything. Not a weave, but I would wear the wig in the beginning. Those videos are being posted on my channel right now. The more recent videos that are being posted right now are those that I posted or that I made years ago. So this is how I started out. And then black women started to tell me, hey, this is an actual issue. Black women actually hate their hair. We hate our hair. Um, our hair is a big insecurity. So when black women tell me things like this, when I have 16, 15, 14-year olds that I'm interviewing telling me that they hate their hair, of course I'm going to do something about it, or of course I'm going to speak out against it. Of course I'm going to demonize wigs and weaves and the people making the wigs and weaves and everything like that. So the reason why I'm qualified to do what I'm doing is because of how long I've been doing it and how much data I've collected. So I have way more knowledge about this topic than pretty much anybody that you could name.
And I wouldn't disagree with you there. I mean, I've seen a lot of the video clips. You have a wealth of knowledge about this particular narrow subject. My thing, though, again, we both belong to the Black community. At least I think we do. Foundational Black American community. And I think that we have other issues that are more pressing. That being said, yes, I think that any teenager feeling low self-esteem about how they naturally are, which I would argue is not just a women thing. I think young men go through that same thing. That there's
Yeah,
aspects.
but we must not deflect though, because we must stay on topic. There's many people that talk about everything black men, white women, Asian men. There's other people that already do these things. Like I named Marquette Devon Burton. He makes leadership. He has a whole organization called Assassin where he builds up men and does interviews and stuff just like I do. So there's people that already do other things. The point of an expert is to be an expert in one field. Like you wouldn't go to a lawyer and be like, okay, well, you need to stop doing that. You need to be a coach, right? You need to go be a leader at a grocery store. Like that makes no sense. Like everybody is an expert in one thing that they do. So this is my field and I'm staying in it.
And I can appreciate that. But I
Yeah,
would, again, I would pose this question. You say you don't like to see it when there's young black children that don't like their natural hair. They hate their natural hair. And I hate to
of
see that
course.
too. We all do. I think it's fair to say most of us hate that, especially as a black adult. But my question then is, why scrutinize the wearing of their hair in different ways in the expression instead of scrutinizing what leads them to feel that they have this need to express themselves that way? What was it that made that black girl feel like she had to straighten her hair to be accepted? You never look at that. And I'm not saying you've never touched on it, but I think it deserves more attention because,
So
again,
I
historical context.
actually I always talk about that all the time. But you guys that see my clips on Instagram, you guys can't see a full conversation because those clips are only a minute. But like I said earlier, if you watch the full YouTube videos, just like everybody here right now that watches my videos know, we get into all of that. Why they wear wigs, why they wear weaves, why the self-hatred is there. And most times, like you talked about earlier, it comes down to when they were in middle school and things like this, they got made fun of most times by other black women. Their mothers would relax their hair and put in wigs and weaves at a very young age. So black women never get to learn how to do their hair. So there's many different factors that go into this, but the solution is number one, just embracing your natural hair and throwing away the wigs and weaves. Start to do it more and more and more. So, and this is the point of me doing these interviews, to spread more awareness about it. But if I'm one of these people that is like, oh, black women, do whatever you want. If you want to wear a wig, if you want to wear a weave, that's totally fine. If I say this, I'm not helping anybody. Do you get what I'm saying?
Of course, I get what you're saying, and I'm saying that that's fine if you want to promote black self love or black love or whatever. Do whatever floats your boat. I'm simply saying that these people that you're interviewing, they might understand the nuance of the question, but your viewers don't. That's why I say it's important to really think about the pretext. You said that you do touch on
No, you're good. I'm still here. My
You
camera
said
just.
that you do touch on historical context in some of your other videos at
Mhm.
length. And maybe that's because I'm seeing all the hot clips and those are the ones that go viral. And of course, we know that the most controversial clips are going to be the ones that are going to have the reach, right? Thousands
Right.
of people see it. And I'm just saying that I would like to see maybe a little bit more on the historical context of why many black women, not all, many black women may feel disposed to express themselves in that way. But we have to make it clear, too, that it's not all black women. We have to parse that distinction because you can't look back and say every black woman that you've ever been attracted to had natural hair. You can't say that.
Of
You really
course.
can't. I can't. Like, for instance, my boyhood crush was Stacey Dash, right? You know who Stacey Dash is from Clueless, the black girl in Clueless.
I never heard of her. I'm not gonna
All
lie.
right. Well,
Yeah.
Stacey Dash has gone on a crash course, and she's not the same person that she was back in the day because of something you talked about earlier, self-hatred. And
Okay.
unfortunately, it's really sad to see her fall from grace because I always thought she was just stunning. But the point is that she had her hair in different styles. She would wear them like I'm wearing right now, box braids. She would straighten it. It's variety. And in life, we all have the freedom to express ourselves the way we want as long as we don't hurt anyone. And I just think that if you're going to go into this black women and the scrutiny of what they're doing, instead of scrutinizing the results or the action, scrutinize what made them feel predisposed or inclined to want to straighten their hair. And if you did more of that, I think that that would help the black community, because not only black women, but even people like myself would see your videos and go, you know what? He's bringing up something that's real. Black women
Well,
were
well,
forced to wear their hair that way.
Well, like I told you, I always do that. I do that every time I speak to a black woman. The videos that you guys always see are the ones that blow up that are arguments. But every time I have a conversation with black women, I always ask them, okay, so why do you wear fake hair? This is why I ask that question so we can get into the context of why they do it. I never just walk up to a black woman and say, hey, you're wearing fake hair, take that out, be natural. I never do that. When I'm having a conversation with them, we go through everything. And like I said, I always do this, but when people just see a clip, they think, oh, you just hate black women, this and that. But the clip is for you, like on Instagram, on TikTok. These are short form content platforms. So I can't go over there and put a 10-minute video there. The reason why I put a minute clip there so you can watch that. And then if you're interested, then you can go watch the full video. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So you cannot deny that.
Well, you're doing what you want to do, and I won't stand in your way, but I will absolutely tell you what my opinion is. And I will say that I disagree with the approach, but I don't disagree with the intention, because I see your intention because you've explained it. And I think that rather,
So you say you don't agree with the intention. So what do you mean by that?
well, no, 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 I disagree with the approach.
With the approach.
I disagree with the approach, but I do not disagree with the intention. Because if your intention is to uplift black women, to help black women see the beauty in themselves, and to understand that they don't need to try to look like any other type of woman but themselves, then yeah, I agree with
See,
that intention.
the thing about it, it's not my tone, it's not how I do everything. The problem is that I'm a man. So this is why people have a problem with me, because you guys think that I just made up everything that I said. No. This most of what I say comes from other black women that have been doing studies on this for many years. And a lot of black women on their internet speak even harsher than I do. Most times I go every single time I approach any black woman, I approach her with respect every single time. And then they get mad because of the questioning, right? But when another black woman says the same things I do, I look in their comment sections and everybody's okay. Everybody's happy, right? Because it's a woman speaking about it. Anytime a man speaks on anything in society, now people want to hate him because we live in a matriarchy and we live in a feminist society as well.
Wait, so you just said we live in a, not a matriarchy, but a feminist society. You corrected yourself. You
No,
think
no,
it's a feminist.
both.
So a matriarchy and a feminist
A
society.
gender feminist society.
So can you name the first and last name of the first female president or the last female president?
So in order to live in a matriarchy, we don't need a female president
Oh,
to live in
okay.
okay, so we can just look at how everything is ran, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of privileges that women have, men don't have, right? um there's a lot of things that women can say, women can say and do a lot of things. When men say, like I just named, when I say things, I get demonized for it. When women say the same things I say, it's okay, girl, clock that T, right? Every time. So, and then also every time, like SA, like Ty Lil, he just got accused for SA, basically. He got accused for that. And all the women, everybody in societies agreeing with the woman before the evidence even ever came out, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of different examples that happen in society that indicate that we live in a matriarchy.
Well, I think that's a false dichotomy. I think that
Okay.
women do have, yeah, and but here's why. I do agree that women have like untouched social prowess that men in this society will not have unless as a man you occupy the upper echelon, and by that I mean of everything: wealth, looks, height, everything. And even then, and fame, if you have that, you still are a man in this society in 2025, and you don't exactly have the same social clout that your average woman has. I won't disagree with that because I was born male and I've lived part of my life as a man presenting as a man, and that was it. And so I know you're not wrong about the fact that they have social advantages. They do. I'm not saying they don't. I'm simply saying that this is not a matriarchy just because women have social advantages. It is still a patriarchy, and historically it was. It is a country ran by white men.
Okay. So when we look at society, white men are not even running anything anymore. Like, what do you mean by the countries is ran by white men? You're talking about Trump?
Well, no, I'm going to be more specific.
Okay.
Do this, and this is a fun search. I did this with my mom not that long ago. Look up the ethnic breakdown of the top 20 Fortune 500 CEOs. Look at their ethnicity. Just take your own mental note. Google it, have your chat Google it. What's the ethnic breakdown, the percentages of the top 20 Fortune 500 CEOs, American CEOs? That's
Okay.
what we
So,
okay.
okay, they
Okay.
can look that up if they want to, but I think we kind of
Okay.
got off topic. The reason why I
Well,
was saying we live in a matriarchy was just to prove the point that
mhm.
when I say things, right, as a black man, I get demonized by women for it. But when black women say the same things I'm saying, it's okay because people just do not like to hear men speak. Like, can you at least agree with that point?
Yeah, because they are sick of men, specifically white men, running things that they feel that they should have a right to and an equal opportunity to. And to your point, I guess what I was trying to say is that you said white men aren't running things. They absolutely are. The 80 over 80% of the CEOs of the top 20 are white, straight men, CEOs of these Fortune 500 companies, the top 20. If you look at Congress, do you know what percentage of our Congress are white and male?
Okay. So number again, we're getting off topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I don't know anything about that, to be
Okay.
honest. But the point is, I'm just saying, women have more advantages. Like I also named, we live in a gender feminist society, right? And do you know what gender feminism is?
Yes.
Okay.
Essentially it's gender essentialism. Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of gender feminists say the same things, like, I hate men, men shouldn't speak, stuff like
Yeah,
this.
misogyny is bad, but misandry is a-okay, right? That's
When
a gender essentialist feminism. It's basically it's okay to ghost a man on a date, but it's not okay to date ghost a woman, right? That it's good for me, but not for you. Yes, I agree. That's very common nowadays.
Right. So that's my whole point. That's what I'm saying. When I say things, it's bad. When women say things, it's good. So basically, at the end of the day, I think that, like we were talking about earlier about, what qualifies me and what qualifies you. So, like I said earlier, you're not qualified and we're not on the same playing field. I'm qualified because of what I've done in my past about this subject. You feel me?
Yeah, and I would add to your point about the critique. Yeah, you're qualified in your lane of what you want to do, but I don't know that you're qualified to be a leader in society just based off of what you choose to do. That's all I'm saying. And more specifically, I'm not attacking you, but I'm saying when you talked about women and how they're allowed to speak freely on men, and we could be more specific, black women are more than welcome and free in society and these platforms on social media to speak about black men badly and well, right? The variety. You could say whatever you want as a black woman about a black man, but the reverse is not the case. But what I would say is, I would caution you here that it's not the case for white men and white women, because white men get a lot more latitude to speak about white women than black men do about black women. And that's because when feminists, and I'm going to say this, so you're going to go, oh, I actually can agree on something. Many feminists and this fifth wave of feminism, which is what we're in, they will collapse their critique to all men, right? But when it comes for praise, when it comes to praising men, it's only for white men.
Okay, so what is your point by saying that?
So my point is that you said that we live in a matriarchy because you're not granted the same social freedoms as most women are. And you're correct. But I would add an asterisk to that point. The reason is because you're a black man.
No, that's not why. And why do you say that?
Because a white man can go on social media and talk about how white women are racist, white women are bad, white women are this and that, and he'll get praised from all the leftists and the liberals. Oh, he's an experimental white man. He can go marry an Asian woman or a black woman and say, I love black women, look at worship black women, and no one will accuse him of being self-loathing for the most part on the left, right? However, if a black man goes and he marries a non-black woman and he says black women are bad, black women are insecure, whatever, he's not going to survive on social media.
Well, if a white man said the same thing a black man said, he would get scrutinized today about that.
But that's not the
It just
point.
it just depends by who. But I mean, like back in the day, white men had a lot more power. Like for instance, they owned slaves. Like they made the rules. They were actually dominant. Now we see that the liberal white woman runs the white man. That's why I said we live in a matriarchy, because the liberal white woman, she's actually making the rules, not the white man. But
And I
this,
agree.
like I'm saying, we're getting off topic. Like I'm not even
Okay.
trying to talk about
Oh,
that.
I agree. You're
Yeah,
right. The
yeah.
liberal white woman does make the rules. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying she is making the rules, which is why you are not allowed to speak as freely as a white man does. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So I mean, what is your point?
So my point is that white men are still at the top of the food chain, bro.
No,
They are.
the liberal white woman is, as you just explained.
White the liberal white woman, I just said it, you got to listen. I said she controls the social framework. So she's
But
at
it
the
didn't
top of
always
the
be like that. The white man used to control everything, right? Now it's the white woman. That's why I said we live in a matriarchy, because the liberal white woman actually is controlling a lot of what is happening today, as you just explained.
she controls the social framework, but she doesn't control the government. She doesn't control the political framework, geopolitics. She doesn't. And she definitely doesn't control the Fortune 500 companies, at least the top 20.
Okay. Like I keep saying, this, we're getting off topic.
Okay.
This conversation is not about the liberal white woman. I know I did bring up a matriarchy. That's why you went into that.
Yeah.
But the point of the conversation is about, getting black women to wear their hair naturally, right? So we do this by number one, promoting natural hair, as I already do, spreading awareness about the lies about wigs and weaves, as I already do, interviewing black women to see what happened in their experiences, as I already do, and also black women and black mothers also teaching their children teaching their children how to love themselves and not to wear wigs and weaves and stuff like this. So what I'm doing is helping at the end of the day, no matter whether you feel it's bad or good, it's helping. But for you to say that, we're on the same playing field, or I shouldn't be able to, do what I'm doing, that's incorrect.
Well, I'd say I'd add to your point of all the things that you talked about that
Yeah.
are beneficent to black women. Can you add maybe not, publicly shaming them with the humiliation ritual of doing the gotcha interviews?
Well,
That's all.
so number one, I ask them questions, and if they decide to lie about what they're saying, then that is on them. All they have to do is tell the truth. There's no gotcha. I ask everybody the same questions. Some black women, um, they agree. Some black women tell the truth. Some black women lie. It's not a gotcha moment on my part. It's a gotcha moment when they start to expose themselves for being a liar and not telling the truth. So that's not my fault. That is that woman's fault.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure having this discussion with you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm glad that we got to express our views, and I think that what your intentions are, I think, are on the right path. But don't hesitate to take a little bit of guidance sometimes when it comes your way. Sometimes different perspectives can actually help. And I think it's good regardless. I respect the fact that you speak from the soul and you speak out about what you truly believe in, your convictions. I always respect that in people, whether I agree with those convictions or not. And I hope you continue to see success in spreading those convictions, and hopefully also living by them authentically and not being a hypocrite.
I appreciate that. And I believe in taking advice from, um, if I'm trying to build a house, I'm going to take advice from somebody who has built a house before, has had the credentials in that. So I'm not going to take advice from random people that don't know anything. That's number one. But yeah, I definitely, like the person said in the comments, I got this. I've been doing this for a while. Every time I debate a hairstylist or somebody who thinks they know more than me, I always end up knowing more than even a cosmetologist. So I'm on the right path, getting Black women to wear their natural hair. And I appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time.
You as well. Have a good night.
Take care. Mhm.
All right, let's read some of these comments. Notice how he keeps acting like he's about to walk away from the conversation, but keeps going because he doesn't get the last word. Sell out. Facts. I just think it's kind of curious to me, how we talked about self-hate. We went over the definition of what self-hate is and how to identify somebody who has self-hatred. But then when we look at him, he couldn't acknowledge that he had self-hatred, even though he was born a male and said he was a trans, right? If you don't like being a male and you want to be a woman, that means you hate yourself. Is that not clear? Am I missing something or what? For Trey to be a hypocrite is for him to police his tone. Trey is no hypocrite. Appreciate that. Facts, bro. It is always tone policing. Facts. They don't like the tone. But it's really about who's saying it. They don't like males who basically are being themselves, right? They don't like the truth. That's the problem. They don't like the truth. Because if I was saying a lie to them or something that they wanted to hear in this same tone, there would be no issue with that. If I said, Black women, keep wearing your wigs and weaves. Black women, your wigs and weaves look beautiful. They wouldn't hate me. They would love me because I'm saying something that they want to hear. Now, when I say something that they don't want to hear, now it's, oh, your tone. Bro, your tone. Oh my God. The lies. That was actually a good debate. Bravo. Appreciate that. Let me see. I'm going to correct that. They're not confused. They're internally disseminating confusion to keep the community dysfunctional, to continue their own dysfunctionality. That's facts. Let me see. So there's no freedom of speech anymore. Apparently, bro. Most of these types of women do not like authority. Hence, exactly, bro. They don't like authority. That's what it is. Hence, when you talk sternly, it's your tone they don't like. Right. The wig dysmorphia and the trans dysmorphia are directly connected. Who would have thought? He was very aggressive when he was caught in the wrong. It's crazy. And it honestly is. They'll try to make an excuse for everything. And if you guys were also paying attention, you'll see how when we were talking about something, he tried to move the goalpost to try to talk about like white men in society and all this other stuff. Like I mentioned matriarchy one time, and now he wants to get into a debate about matriarchy instead of a debate about, what we're talking about, which is hair. trying to move away from the conversation, because pretty much every time we talked about hair or the subject that we agreed to talk about, I pretty much own that conversation. So then he wanted to move the goalposts to stuff that, you know, I don't talk about, to try to, you know, win an argument somewhere else. You feel me? They want simps. Yeah, they do. W Trey, appreciate that. Here's another thing though: when you feed into the delusions, they live their lives. Let me see. Hold on, give me 1 second. They don't think about the ramifications of their actions until the effects hit them later. Exactly, bro. Exactly. You are humiliating. You are humiliating black women. LOL. Um. Well. So I think we have to create a new definition of what a black woman is, right? Because a black woman is not a woman who is trying to be like a white woman. A black woman is a woman that is proud to be who she was born to be. She wears her natural hair. She's not trying to skin bleach, right? She's not trying to contour her nose to make it look sharper, to make it look like a white woman's nose, right? She's not trying to put on red lipstick. You feel me? Things like this to try to accentuate European features. So if you say that I'm humiliating black women, I don't think black women, but the fake wannabe white women, the white supremacists, I do agree with that. Black women humiliating themselves. That's a better term. I like that. They're humiliating themselves. Because, like I told bro, I walk up to black women and ask them the same set of questions to everybody. I've been doing this for a long time. And some black women humiliate themselves, and some black women are honest and they don't. Constantly change the subject. Um, are you talking about bro? Or what do you mean by that? Black feminist talking points and black LGBTQ talking points, basically identical facts. Trey's holding up the mirror. Exactly. How can you humiliate somebody with the truth? Facts. Because they are all in their feminine energy. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys coming up and tuning in tonight. Make sure you guys hit the like button on your way out. Also, comment on some videos, some interview questions or video type content that you guys want to see. If you want to see the same thing, just keep tuning in. Let me see. I don't think black women trying to look white. I don't think black women are trying to look white. They are trying to look like the clowns, or trying to look like clowns that host parties because they wear wigs. Trying to act like clowns that you got to explain that logic. You got to explain that logic. Um that's why a lot of you guys call them females and not black women. That's why a lot of guys call them females and not black women. What do you mean by that? I just wish Alex, if he was a black man, can't critique the black community. Who can? Oh, I wish you asked Alex. Okay, if he was a black man, that would have been a good question. That definitely would have been a good question. But honestly, I like debating people, like Alex, um, just because it makes me sharper. Like, when they say, well, I was about to say iron sharpens iron, but bro, it's not iron. That's not iron for sure. But you guys get what I mean. It's like the more I debate, the more I hear like, different talking points and rhetoric and things like this. I can watch this back and see where I made mistakes as well. Feel me? Um, but yeah, I like to, because a lot of the black women that I interview, it's like it's a cakewalk because they all say the same thing. Oh, we wear wigs for protection. We wear wigs because we want to. Black men need to stay out of black women's business. Blah 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 blah. It's like we hear the same thing all the time. So I'm like, bro, all right. Black women look like clowns with them. Let me see. competing with the transgender for them wigs. You know what? I might gotta research into that. You're just looking for people that agree with you. The guest was talking over your head and you thought you couldn't follow. That's why you kept saying she was talking off topic. Okay. Number one, I don't remember talking to any women tonight. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. Number two, if you disagree with me and you think you can, here you go. I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link for you, buddy. There you go. So the debate we're talking about is hair, right? So if somebody comes in here and start talking about brick building, like I'm not going to know about that. Appreciate that. Shout out Trey. Keep up the. I should just put the chats I'm reading on the screen because I'm trying to read them as they're moving and yeah. Drop Cash App. I definitely need to do that. I'm not. I never use my Cash App to be honest, but I use PayPal. My PayPal I think is just my first and last name. So Trayvon, Trevon McNear, which is right here on the screen. I appreciate that. We have a troll in the chat. Yeah, come on, troll in the chat. Hit that link. You got so much to say in there. Hit the link. Come up. Oh yeah, let me start pulling them up. Not gonna lie, Landon, I want to send Trey something. He does good work. I appreciate everybody that supports me because it's like a lot of people also always ask me, bro, like, why don't you have more subscribers? Why don't you have more people? Why don't you have more views? It's because like I've had this channel for a long time and I've been suppressed. Like I made videos before that got taken down about, I can't even say it because they'll say I'm spreading misinformation. But the thing that happened in 2020 where people started, we had to get those in our arms. You feel me? Because of the okay. So somebody just joined, but yeah, because we had to get what I'm talking about. I made videos exposing that, and they started shadow banning my content after that. So that's why this channel doesn't have more subscribers than it should. But I'm working on that. What is your standpoint, Sandra?
Oh, hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I was just calling to basically give pushback to the gentleman that you were interviewing, right? So he was going on and on about how black women would feel this way and black women would feel this way about that. But in all honesty, when we have our men, okay, when we have our men saying that they want us to wear our hair, that is the most loving thing that a black man could ever say, because that is you appreciating us in our natural form. That's you appreciating us the way we exist, not expecting us to be like the other women, not expecting us to, fit those so-called European standards. And I find it very funny, and I'm not going to be long-winded, but I find it very funny how these same women will complain that they have to meet these European standards. But then when you tell them, hey, wear your natural hair, it's like, oh my God, why would I want to do that? That's civil rights hair. That's this, that's that. So I want to say that I do appreciate your content. I appreciate
you
pushing, us to embrace ourselves as black women, our natural hair, all of that. So shout out to you.
And that's why I was also saying, like, I don't think he had a position to tell anybody or tell me what I should and shouldn't do, because he's a clear example of self-hatred. So of course, when you look at my content, you're seeing what I do and say, oh, you hate black women. Like him and his whole friend group were saying that I hate black women. And like you said, like, how do I hate a black woman if I'm saying wear your natural hair? Get away from this racist rhetoric that black women's hair is hard to do or unkempt and things like this. So it's just clear to me that people like him, they hate themselves. And I personally know that he hates himself, he hates black men because he tried to change from a black man to a black woman, and he also hates black women as well. So it's clear.
I agree. I agree 1000%. But there is one thing to keep in mind.
Yes.
When you're dealing with people, just in general, is that a lot of folks don't know the meaning of words.
Mm,
So, you'll say something like, "Oh, this is self-hate," and then that's why he's relating it to men raping women or this, that, and the third. It's because they don't know the like the literal definition of words. It's been the dumbing down of America. I think it was Think Before You Sleep. He did a really good video talking about this. So
mm,
essentially, and I have a background in teaching English. So essentially, what they
okay.
do now is they teach the younger kids, when they're teaching them how to read, they teach them how to memorize words, and then they
Mm-hmm.
also teach them to focus on how the words make them feel rather than what
Mm,
they actually mean. So you have like college graduates or people in college that are English majors, and they were told to translate, I think it was Bleak House, into modern terms, right? So it's a
mm-hmm.
difficult read, but it was like the introduction they needed to translate it, and they couldn't do it. Like they couldn't do it, and they didn't even think to look up what these words meant. And these were English majors at a university. So when you're dealing with, everyday people, even the folks that are supposed to be so-called educated, a lot of them don't know what these words mean. They just know how these words make them feel. So that's why
Mm.
the disconnect exists. But I don't want to be long-winded. Thank you for having me up.
You're welcome. You have a great rest of your night.
You as well.
That's a very good point that she made because, like she was saying, when I was saying you're self-hating, black women are self-hating if they're always putting wigs on all the time. Like I talked about the black woman that told me, the interview should be dropping soon on my backup channel. If you guys just like hearing people speak to me without seeing them on camera, you should follow my backup channel. It's called Stop Playing Cherry Clips. But one of the women I was debating, she told me that she hasn't worn her natural hair outside in over 3 years. And her basically saying that is directly self-hating. But like she was saying, um, she didn't understand, and the gentleman that also came up tonight, he didn't also understand what the word self-hate means. And I feel like they do understand it, but they're just being disingenuous because they don't want people to expose them for their actual position. So now they have to say, oh well, um, then he started making analogies about, oh well, the leaders of the country, they were found to essay women and stuff like this. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, what are we talking about here? So it's clear that people that are dishonest, they try to spin the truth and recreate definitions and make them seem like what they're actually not. And it's sad for real. But yeah, the more I debate people like that guy, that male, the more I'll be able to sharpen things up. But yeah. Let's see. Um how words, oh, let me just pull up stuff. How words make a person feels kind of explains tone policing. That is a good point. She's talking about the differences between connotation and denotation. Gotta look that up. They never teach the literal meaning. That's why we have the problems that we have now. Mm. Let me see. For me, it makes sense why liberals lost. Oh, okay. Let me see. Logic. Exactly. 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 Facts. You guys are just speaking facts in the chat. I'm not gonna lie to you. They know they're just being disingenuous. Exactly. Bro was being disingenuous the whole night and then got offended when I called him sir. I'm like, bro, you kept saying you're born a male. And I don't know why they use this rhetoric. I was born a male. Just say I am a male. Like, what are we doing here? We're trying to play games. Hope what I sent helps, brother. I didn't I didn't even see. Hold on, let me check. Hey, I appreciate that, Joshua. I definitely appreciate you. Actually, let me see. Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate the support. And like I said earlier, it's gonna be people like you that support me that are gonna kind of let me do and continue to do this movement, because I already know, like, I'm going to keep getting suppressed on all my platforms like TikTok. I was growing and growing and growing. Each video would get like 100,000, 200,000, millions of views. Now my channel is getting like 500 views, right? And I'm posting the same content. So I'm getting suppressed on there, suppressed on YouTube. Also on Instagram, I'm not really getting suppressed, but it's because I'm not making, my account is not monetized on Instagram. So, but it's like once you try to monetize, then they suppress you because they don't want you to move up, right? So it's been like this for many years, but people like you, I definitely appreciate. So thank you. All right. Bro, why did you spoil it, bro? Like, I was about to get off of here and go watch that. Okay, hopefully he's capping. Hopefully you cap it, bro. Let me get off of here before there's any more spoilers. Appreciate you guys for showing up. You guys have a great rest of your night.